Dear listeners, I am Dr. Atish Mundada, Associate Professor with SNJB's Sriman Suresh Dada Jain College of Pharmacy. Would like to discuss about drug regulatory networks. Dear all, drug regulatory affairs is very crucial and important department which ensures that safe and quality medicines reaches to the market and to ensure that only safe, efficacious and quality medicines should reach to the market or up to the consumers. Drug regulatory professionals, whether working into health authorities or pharmaceutical industries, strive their level best to follow or to lay down the rules and regulations or frame guidelines which, being followed, will lead to development of quality medicines. There are different regulatory authorities that works throughout the world. There are three types. One is known as global regulatory network, another one is known as regional regulatory network, and third one is national regulatory network. And today, I will discuss about all these three regulatory networks in detail. So, drug regulatory affairs is a function which regulates the pharmaceutical science in order to facilitate trade or business in and outside the country of origin for public interest. As I said earlier, drug regulatory affairs, it regulates pharmaceutical business through designing appropriate laws and enforcing them so that drugs meeting the highest standards of quality are brought into the global trade. The rules and regulations which are being prepared considering global, regional and national pharmaceutical trade as well as necessity of the drugs based on patient population. It is expected that each country should have its own regulatory authority, which is not possible for every country. And that's why there are three different regulatory networks which works throughout the world. The one is known as Global Regulatory Network. WHO, World Health Organization, the guidelines which are being framed and given by WHO are applicable to all regulatory authorities of the world. Even the countries which cannot afford to have their own regulatory authority rely on to the guidelines laid down by WHO for approving the drugs for human consumption. Another network which is considered under global regulatory network is ICH. To be very honest, ICH is not truly a global regulatory network because it comprises of three regulatory authorities of three important countries, that is US, European Union, and Japan. These three countries are the major market for pharmaceutical products, and every manufacturer throughout the world eyes onto this, putting their products into this market. So these three regulatory authorities joined hands together to ensure that with one application, the manufacturer can get his product being approved in three countries, that is US, European Union, and Japan. Second type of regulatory network is known as regional regulatory network, where various countries of a region comes together and form their regulatory authority. The guidelines which are being issued by this regional regulatory authority is applicable to all the countries which has come together on the same platform and became a member of that regulatory authority. European Union is the classic example of it. And third type of regulatory network is national regulatory network, where the country is having its own regulatory authority, and the guidelines which are being laid down by that regulatory authority are being followed for approving the drugs for human consumption or for approving the clinical trials. In national regulatory network, we have our own regulatory authority, CDSCO. Another example is US FDA, which is regulatory authority of US. We have TGA, Therapeutic Goods Administration of Australia. So these are the examples of national regulatory authorities. Now let us talk about each and every in detail. Global regulatory network. Global regulatory network is being defined by regulatory representatives of each country in the world. As I said earlier, World Health Organization is said to be the global regulatory network which takes care of the rules and regulations related to marketing authorization of new drugs throughout the world. ICH, which is a common platform which is being formed by collaboration of US, European Union, and Japan. They have issued harmonized technical requirements for manufacturers to follow for marketing authorization in these three regions. Let me tell you why these three countries joined hands together. The reason was every manufacturer wishes to put his product into these three important markets. And when ICH was not there in existence, manufacturer had to apply separately to the US regulatory authority, to European Union regulatory authority, and Japan regulatory authority. So it used to be increasing the burden onto the manufacturer, and it was a redundant work. So to reduce the work and to bring some harmonization, and that's why it is known as International Conference on Harmonization. So they brought harmonization into the technical requirements, which reduced the burden onto the manufacturer who are willing to put their product into these three important regions of the world. WHO, it comprises of a balance of all countries of the world except US, European Union, and Japan, because US, European Union, and Japan, they have joined hand together and formed ICH. So rest of the countries in the world, they follow the guidelines which are being given by WHO and prepares harmonized marketing authorization application guidelines and technical data requirements for registration in all other countries. Even national regulatory authority or regional regulatory authority, while framing the guidelines or rules for marketing authorization application, they ensure that WHO guidelines are being followed or are being observed while preparing their own guidelines. Next is regional regulatory authority. Various countries of the same region, they came together and thought of having a common regulatory authority instead of individual countries' regulatory authority. As I said earlier, every country cannot afford to have their own regulatory authority. So it was a better idea to come together and have a common regulatory authority. So to facilitate trade within specified region or countries have come together and form a common trade association. Regional trade association, it defines rules and regulations for common marketing authorization application as well as technical data requirements for pre-marketing authorization. Various examples of regional regulatory networks are there. Say for example, you have ASEAN, which is Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Southeast Asian nations have come together and formed their common regulatory authority, which is known as ASEAN. Another one is SADC, South African Development Community. South African continent countries, they are financially weaker. So they thought of joining hands together and forming a common regulatory authority. South Africa itself, they have their own regulatory authority, but other South African countries, they had this common regulatory authority, that is SADC. Another one is APEC, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. Then you have GCC, Gulf Cooperative Countries. PANDRH, it is another regional regulatory network which takes care of the Pan-American Network on Drug Regulatory Harmonization. And we have European Union, various countries into the European region. They have joined hands together, forming European Union as their regulatory authority. Next one is your national regulatory network. The country which are financially sound, they have formed their own regulatory authority. No doubt when you are going to have your own regulatory authority, different people will be involved in the administration of that department, and it is actually financially burdensome. So each country cannot afford to have their own regulatory network, but there are countries in the world which have their own drug regulatory authority. The very first and most sought after the drug regulatory authority in the world is US FDA, that is United States Food and Drug Administration. Next one is Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, which is a regulatory authority of Japan, MHLW it is known as. We have MHRA of UK, that is Medicines and Healthcare Regulatory Agency. Australia has its own regulatory authority that is known as Therapeutic Goods Administration, that is TGA. Our country is having our own drug regulatory authority, which is known as CDSCO, that is the Central Drug Standards and Control Organization. Then China is having its own regulatory authority, which is known as SFDA, that is State Food and Drug Administration of Republic of China. Then Anvisa is the drug regulatory authority of Brazil. Agencia Nacional de Vigilancia Sanitaria, ANVISA. Then Mexico drug regulatory authority is known as COFEPRIS. The Federal Commission for the Protection Against Sanitary Risk, COFEPRIS. Then Administración Nacional de Medicamentos Alimentos Tecnología Médica, ANMAT, is the regulatory authority of Argentina. DCA is the drug regulatory authority of Malaysia Drug Control Administration. And South Africa is having its own drug regulatory authority, which is known as Medicines Control Council, that is MCC. Now it is the duty of a drug regulatory affair professional who is working into the pharmaceutical industry to guide the formulation scientist regarding the requirements of particular region or particular country wherever the manufacturer is willing to put his product into. So in our next lecture, we'll be talking about the roles of regulatory affair professional in health agency and in connection with the pharmaceutical industries. As I said earlier, drug regulatory affair professional can work either as a policy maker in health agency, or he will have to follow the rules and guidelines which are being laid down by the regulatory authority working into the pharmaceutical industry. So in our next lecture, we'll talk about it in detail. Thank you. Have a nice time. So this was all about drug regulatory networks. Whenever formulator, whenever manufacturer is interested in putting his product in particular country or in particular region, at that time, drug regulatory affair professional will have to guide the manufacturer regarding the guidelines and special precautions to be taken while putting the product in that particular country or in particular region. Thank you very much.